Livestock makes up 40% of global agriculture production and supports about 1 billion people, according to the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. It provides the human diet with protein and farmers with income and assets. Animals turn agriculture byproducts into a valuable resource while improving soil quality and fertility. In some regions, animal traction is still used to work the land and transport cargo. Up to 30% of land use worldwide, not including ice-covered areas, is dedicated to livestock. Two major land categories are used to feed animals. On the one hand, pastures, with grasses and bushes consumed on-site. Pastures make up about a quarter of total emerged land in the world. On the other hand, farming land, when crops can feed animals, with their above-ground biomass, such as leaves, stems, seeds and processing byproducts, or with their below-ground biomass, such as taproots. 1/3 of global cropland is used to grow fodder, according to estimates. 3 types of animal husbandry coexist worldwide. The first is pastoral systems, where grazing herbivores are raised on pasture throughout the year and feed mostly on spontaneous vegetation. Resource diversity and seasonality require herds and sometimes their shepherd community to be mobile in order to access that resource where and when it is available. The second one is animals integrated in the farming operations. The same unit of production grows crops and raises animals, either omnivores or herbivores, which are fed at pasture or indoors with locally produced resources. The third type of livestock farming is indoor livestock farming, where animals, pigs, poultry, cattle or goats, are permanently penned and fed plants or byproducts that are imported from distant production areas. What we have here are 3 drastically different situations. Reality is typically more nuanced, with practices being often combined into intermediary setups where animals are raised partly on pasture and partly indoors, depending on the season, the time of the day, or the specific needs of specific individuals. These 3 types of animal husbandry imply different relationships to the land. Confining animals indoors permanently necessarily implies that their relation to the land is indirect, since it is completely controlled by the farmer who orchestrates both the feeding of the animals and the fertilization of the land. The diet and feeding schedule of animals raised indoors is dependent indeed upon the farmer's work in the fields. Harvested plants can be stored or processed before being fed to the animals. Simultaneously, animal waste can be stored, then applied to the fields, with the farmer deciding which areas needs fertilizing and when, and how much manure is to be used. When animal husbandry is fully integrated into agriculture, animals may be penned at night on the fields that need fertilizing, thus eliminating the need for storing and applying manure. On the other hand, animals raised on pasture are free to express their natural behavior, which shapes their direct relationship to the land. When herbivores graze, they selectively consume items from the vegetation cover, exploring their environment. They use resources unevenly throughout the space, depending on the plant diversity, local topography, the varying needs of the animals in the group, the presence of a shepherd and/or of fences. Manure typically accumulates in pastured and rest areas mainly. Beyond generating outputs and inputs of organic matter through feeding and defecating, pasture-raised animals modify soil structure through trampling, scratching, especially for poultry, or rooting, especially for pigs. The diversity of behaviors among animal species, in terms of what vegetation is consumed, what land area is used, or how the soil is impacted, makes it possible to use complementarities so as to design an integrated agroecosystem that makes the most of the land uses by animals. When livestock is integrated with agriculture, animals may be fed at pasture or indoors, depending on the season, which creates both direct and indirect relations of the animals to the land. In the case of indoor farming, animals are never directly associated with local crop areas. This creates some serious issues, as we will explore later.